Hi, so let's try and solve this. It says given a month as an integer from 1 to 12, return to which quarter of the year it belongs as an integer number. So the title is quarter of the year, and it says, for example, when we are given month 2, which is February, is part of the first quarter. So quarter is divided the first 3 months, and then you have the next 3 months as the next quarter, and so on. So it says month 6, which is June, is part of the second quarter, because that's from month 4 to month 6, and month 11, November, is part of the fourth quarter, because that spans from month 10 to month 12. So we are meant to solve that first in JavaScript. So we can use, in this case, we can use the if-else statement in JavaScript, and we just say if, and we're considering the month is less than or equals to 3. So we can do this, and if that's the case, then we're going to return the month, the quarter. So that's 1. We can say the first quarter. Then we'll say else if, then we'll say month is less than or equals to 6. Now we'll return 2, because that's the second quarter. And we can continue. We'll say else if month is less than or equals to, and this time it's going to be 9. Then we'll return 3. And finally, we, instead of saying if, else if, and we specify month less than 12, we already know that's the last situation or the condition. So we just say else, just to conclude that, return 4. So I believe this should pass, because we've accounted for all the different quarters for the year. So let's test. Passed attempt, and it's passed. So we can further refactor this, and I think the easier way to do that is to consider that we're talking about the quarter of the year, which means every 3 months. So what we can do is to divide the specified month by 3, and then we can now allocate it based on that to the whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4, based on the quarter. So let me give you an example of that. For example, so the month we're giving, for example, is, let's say, 4, right, which is April. And now we want to specify that it should return the quarter, right? So what we can do is, let me just console.log that, log it out, and if we log out month was 4, right? But we can as well divide this by 3 to get the exact quarter it belongs to, and we can see here 1.3 and 3 and onwards. So we know that this basically is going to fall under the second quarter, because 4 begins the second quarter, 4 to 6. So what do? If we decide to use math.round, let's not use round, .floor. That means we are trying to round it down. What we'll have is 1, and that's the first quarter. So that wouldn't work. So what we need to do is instead to use CEIL, because that will bring it to the topmost value. So that is 2. So this is going to be part of the second quarter. So if we make this 3, now we have 1, because what we'll be left with is 3 divided by 3 would have 1 with no remainder. So CEIL of that will be 3. And if we test this with let's test that with 7, which should be in the third quarter, and we have that. But if we make it 6, Now we have back to 2. So let's try that here. So I'm going to take all this off, and since this is already an arrow function, I'm just going to apply that here. So it has an implicit return, something like that, and that one should be able to work out. So let's test that, and that works. An attempt, and that passes. So that's the easier way to refactor that. So let's do that in Python now. So go into Python, and now we have to do the same thing. We can say if month is less than or equals to 3, then we're going to return 1. And we can do the same thing else if month is less than or equals to 6, we're going to return 2, and we'll continue. Else if month is less than or equals to 9, then we'll return 3, and then we'll say else we'll return 4. Now and let's test that. Passes. An attempt, and that passes. So we can also use the CEIL, Math.ceil, but in Python we have to import that into as a model for that to work. So we're going to just clean all that off, and just at the top right here I'm going to import. So I'll say from math import CEIL. So we have the math model and we have CEIL as a function. So now to apply that simply is to just return, and then we, instead of using unlike JavaScript we had Math.ceil, this time since we are already importing the function, we just use CEIL that way, and we'll say month is that way divided by 3. So this should work. Let's test and pass. So basically this is how to solve the quarter of the year challenge.